All right, hello everyone. I just wanted to record this video to show you a little bit about how to use the ephemeris and find where a planet was on certain dates in time in history. Also in the future, you can use this many ways. So this is a website that I often recommend people to use. It's free. It has so much stuff on it. It is the go-to, especially when you're beginning to learn astrology. You don't have to buy any fancy software. You don't have to do anything um, crazy. You can just use this website to do all sorts of things. But today I'm going to show you how to use the ephemeris, which is basically a big book of where the planets are on any given day at any given time. So let's get into it. We can go here to the three lines up here to open up the menu. And then you can go to all about astrology. And then you will see down here, it says ephemeris. So you can click on this. It'll bring up a whole bunch of stuff. I like to go to the 9,000 years ephemeris because then it will bring up all of, you can go way back to the beginning of time, basically. But if you want to know around when you were born, you can go to the 20th century, assuming that you were born in the 20th century. Maybe the 21st century. But I'll just go to my date of birth. So if I go to 1992, it'll pull up the PDF of this year. So this is the table for the year of 1992. So I can go down here. It's going to look a little bit insane, but as you get used to it, you'll get to know it'll be easier to look at over time, basically. So if I go to my date of birth, so it's month by month in order: February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So I can go here and you'll see the day is here. And then these are all the glyphs for the planets. If you want to see where these planets were or points, some of them aren't actually planetary bodies, but that's a whole other thing. So if I go to the 4th, the day, it'll even tell you the day of the week. I was born on a Tuesday on the 4th. And I am specifically looking for Saturn for this case. So I would go over to the glyph of Saturn. So this is what it looks like. And then just kind of match this to that. So you'll see it was at 15 degrees, but you're like, okay, 15 degrees of what sign? That doesn't really tell me much. So you'll have to go backwards to see. It'll show the glyph of the sign that this planet was in. So I will put the glyphs in a place where you can find them as well so that you can see the glyphs, but you'll also see them on your birth chart as well. So Saturn on the day I was born was at 15 degrees of Aquarius. And also I'm recording this because I'm putting it along with the Saturn Stories workbook. And in this workbook, I'm asking you to really like look and see where the Saturn cycles are in your life as well. So this is going to be a little bit of like an Easter egg hunt. So about every 7 years, Saturn will move into the sign that is squaring, opposing, or conjunct your natal Saturn. So this happens about every 7 years. So that will give you a little bit of an indication of the year that this might happen. So if I'm thinking for myself, so I would want to look about 7 years. You may find that it's like a little bit less, a little bit more, depending on the way that Saturn is moving through the sky. So it may take a little bit of time to find these dates for that reason. So if I go back to sharing again, so I'm going to go about 7 years from 1992 just to see like what's happening. So 7 years from 1992 is 1999. And let's see what it says. So it should be, we're looking for 15 degrees of the next fixed sign. The next fixed sign is Aquarius. So we go in order. So Aquarius, then it would be Taurus. So I'll also put the signs and the modalities so that you know which sign you're looking for. So for fixed placements, it's Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio. So I'm looking for Taurus this time around. So if I'm going to go to 1999, about 7 years, and then we'll just see where Saturn was. So Saturn was in Aries at the beginning of January. So let's see. Let's scroll, scroll, scroll. Oh, we're getting to 29 degrees of Aries. And then you'll see, 0 degrees of Taurus. We're getting close. So we're going to try to find 15 degrees of Taurus. And you may find too, as you're looking at this, that the things that come up when when Saturn is in the next fixed sign. So I might even look back to March of 1999 because that is when Saturn went into Taurus, and I might have felt that. Now, I was 7 years old or 6 years old, I guess, when it first went in. I may not remember that time, which is totally fine as well. So let's just look for 15 degrees, and you'll see that it's going to go backwards and forwards. So it's going forwards, and then it will retrograde and go backwards a little bit. So you may notice that it's kind of like moving closer and then further and then closer again. So we can see here in July, it's at 14 degrees, and then it moves to 15 degrees. So July of 1999 was my first Saturn square. And then we can do this again. We can do it again. We can also see that here's what I was talking about. So it's going forward 16 degrees, 17 degrees. And then you'll see this R. This means retrograde. So Saturn stationed retrograde on the 30th of August, 1999. So then it's going to start to move backwards again. So 17 degrees. And then you'll see it goes back to 16 degrees, 16 degrees, and then it hits 15 degrees again. So again, in October 1999, you'll see that there was another exact hit on my Saturn. So you'll just do this for all of the dates. So then I would go 7 years from 1999 to see if it was in Leo. I would look for when Saturn was at 15 degrees of Leo to get my Saturn opposition. So you kind of get the idea of how to use the ephemeris. If you have any questions, please let me know. I understand that this is very technical. This is the technical, more like geometric part of astrology, which is also very exciting. I love looking at the ephemeris just because it's like, wow, it kind of just puts into perspective like what goes into the art of astrology. So it is a different side of like the more intuitive. This is the more technical part of it, and I think it's also really beautiful to see this part of astrology too, and to get into the ephemeris and kind of like see what was going on certain days. And I think it's just a beautiful tool that we have access to. So if you have any questions on the ephemeris and how to use it, let me know. I would be happy to answer any questions. Get in there, play around, and let me know what you find.